People across South Africa were left stunned today after a parliamentary session was forced to stop following a heated confrontation between McKenzie of the Patriotic Alliance and President Ramaphosa. What was supposed to be a routine discussion about the national budget quickly turned into one of the most chaotic and dramatic scenes seen in Parliament in a very long time. Instead of calm debate and structured discussion, the chamber turned into a space filled with shouting, anger, and complete disorder. This moment exposed deep cracks within South Africa's already fragile political system. It raised serious questions about the country's leadership, the behavior of elected officials, and whether the government is truly functioning the way it should. What happened inside Parliament did not stay inside those walls. It immediately spread outside, sparking widespread public discussion about how poorly members of Parliament are behaving and how little respect they seem to have for one another. Many people felt it showed that those in power are struggling to maintain control at a time when the country is already facing major social and economic challenges. The chaos began when McKenzie stood up during the budget debate to speak. McKenzie is well known for being outspoken, blunt, and unafraid to offend. From the moment he started talking, he launched a direct and aggressive attack on the president and his administration. His speech quickly became emotional and personal. He openly called Ramaphosa a coward and accused him of supporting corruption. He claimed the president was incapable of making strong decisions for ordinary South Africans. McKenzie did not hold back. His words echoed through the chamber as he said the president was weak, protected corrupt individuals, and ignored the suffering of people who are struggling to survive. He even said South Africa was not truly poor, but broken, because the president refused to stand up and speak honestly. These statements immediately angered members of the African National Congress. Several MPs began shouting at McKenzie in an attempt to drown him out and prevent others from hearing his remarks. The speaker repeatedly called for calm and order, but the noise only grew louder. Tempers flared, voices rose, and the atmosphere inside the chamber became increasingly tense and hostile. The situation escalated even further when Ramaphosa stood up to respond. He looked visibly upset and far from his usual composed self. In a sharp reply, he accused McKenzie of being dishonest and self-serving. Ramaphosa said McKenzie was not truly interested in helping poor people and was only focused on his own political image. He even suggested that McKenzie associated with questionable individuals, which contradicted his claims of standing for the poor. That exchange pushed the session completely out of control. The debate collapsed into pure chaos. Ramaphosa and McKenzie were openly attacking each other, and the discussion was no longer about the budget or policy. Members of Parliament jumped from their seats, shouting across the chamber, pointing fingers, and throwing accusations at one another across party lines, turning the entire session into a public political meltdown. Security teams inside Parliament were already on high alert because the language being used was becoming extremely personal and aggressive. Members of Parliament were openly insulting each other, using words like traitor, hypocrite, and enemy of the people. Many of them were ignoring parliamentary rules completely and even challenging the authority of the speaker in front of everyone. The situation reached a point where the speaker had no choice but to end the session entirely. This decision alone showed just how serious the crisis had become and how far things had gone beyond normal political disagreement. By shutting down the session, the speaker sent a clear message that the situation had completely spiraled out of control. Even after the session ended, tensions did not calm down. Reports started coming out that MPs were still shouting at each other in the hallways, and staff members had to step in to prevent physical fights from breaking out. All of this was happening live on television, and within minutes, video clips of the chaos were spreading across the internet. Social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook exploded with reactions. Some people were furious, others were shocked, and many were even turning the whole situation into memes and jokes. Hashtags related to the Ramaphosa vs. McKenzie meltdown and the parliamentary crisis started trending, reaching millions of people. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about what had just happened. Supporters of McKenzie saw him as someone brave enough to stand up to the president and speak on behalf of citizens who feel ignored. They believed his confrontational style was necessary in a system they felt was broken and disconnected from reality. To them, McKenzie was saying what many ordinary people were thinking but did not have the power to say themselves. On the other side, supporters of Ramaphosa strongly disagreed. They felt McKenzie's behavior was reckless and driven by a desire for attention rather than real solutions. They argued that he was damaging the reputation of Parliament and turning an important democratic process into a public spectacle. According to them, his actions distracted from serious national issues and made it harder for the government to function properly. They believed this kind of behavior was especially dangerous at a time when the country desperately needs stability and responsible leadership. Many political analysts and experts are deeply concerned about what this incident represents. They see it as a clear sign that South Africa's political system is under serious strain. Zina Lachalai, a well-known political commentator, said the incident reflects a failure of leadership at the highest level. She argued that the structure of government is not working effectively, the economy is struggling, and public frustration is growing rapidly. Zina warned that if these underlying problems are not addressed, scenes like this will become more common. She believes repeated public clashes like this could cause citizens to lose faith in both the government and the entire political system. According to her, South Africa's political leadership must take urgent action to raise. South Africa's political leadership is now under growing pressure to find a way forward and restore some sense of order and stability. Opposition parties reacted almost immediately. Both the Democratic Alliance and the Economic Freedom Fighters called for a formal investigation into the conduct of both McKenzie and Ramaphosa. The Economic Freedom Fighters argued that the president should have remained calm and composed, even under intense pressure. The Democratic Alliance, on the other hand, said that McKenzie's aggressive language was disrupting the ability of the government to function properly. Both parties have urged the Speaker to step in and take action against McKenzie and Ramaphosa. They want clear consequences so that discipline can return to Parliament and lawmakers can start following the rules again. To them, this is not just about one argument, but about protecting the credibility of the entire institution. But this incident goes much deeper than what was seen on camera. It reflects a growing loss of trust in South Africa's political class. Many citizens feel that politicians are more focused on attacking each other than solving real problems. Instead of respectful debate, parliamentary sessions are increasingly filled with hostility and personal attacks. This has left ordinary South Africans feeling frustrated, angry, and disappointed. For millions of people struggling with unemployment, poverty, and a lack of basic services like water and electricity, these political fights feel disconnected from reality. The failures of African politics are no longer just theoretical. They are directly affecting daily life, creating stress, uncertainty, and emotional exhaustion for people trying to survive. For viewers watching from home, it was painful to see the leaders they voted for shouting insults instead of offering solutions. Many people said it made them feel that politicians care more about public image and personal battles than about improving lives. On social media and in interviews, citizens expressed the same message over and over again. They want jobs, food, safety, and dignity, not endless political drama. Civil society groups and organizations that monitor government accountability also spoke out. They urged Parliament to return to respectful dialogue, take responsibility for its actions, and focus on meaningful discussions about national priorities. They warned that continued behavior like this would deepen divisions in society and further weaken public trust in government. South Africans want to see their leaders working together to solve real problems, not tearing each other apart in public. They want cooperation, not chaos. They want progress, not performances. As the dust begins to settle after one of the most chaotic parliamentary sessions in recent memory, the country is left reflecting on what this moment truly means. Many are asking whether this marks the beginning of a new era where conflict becomes the norm and productivity disappears. Others hope it serves as a serious wake-up call for political leaders to act with maturity, respect, and responsibility. The future of South African politics now feels uncertain. With elections approaching and public trust already at historic lows, there is real fear that without meaningful reform, scenes like this will become more common. If that happens, the country could enter a dangerous phase defined by division, instability, and a desperate need to restore the true purpose of democratic leadership.